Hi all, welcome back to my video. This is Joe, where I am continuing on building the 1966 Batmobile from the classic 1966 TV series. We left off at stage 33. I know I took kind of a hiatus, but let's get back into just making some videos and finishing up this model. I'm also working on the Millennium Falcon. I'll be putting out videos on that as well. So here's where we stand. We're on stage 33, and we're also on season 1, episode 33. Didn't realize there's that many episodes. You know what? I think they didn't play all the episodes every week or whatever, because I'm seeing a lot of episodes I didn't see, and I used to watch this religiously. Or maybe, well, I'm not that old. I was born in 68, so what I was probably watching was the reruns. And so maybe my TV station didn't buy the whole season, to air. They probably just picked select episodes to air. Because there's some of them here that, if you remember from my previous videos, every video I open up and I show you the episode, and some of them I don't remember, So the rest of the magazine for stage 33 looks like this. And then it has a section for Batman year by year, which is pretty cool. You get to see the old and new and the progression of Batman. And now we're getting into our car parts. So stage 33, we are continuing on the rear suspension. And so stage 33 looks like this. We'll open it up and we'll have... Fanhome does a nice job on packaging, which is pretty cool. That's probably one of the reasons why, for the expense, you could see that you're getting something quality made. It's not just random parts in a bag, You could see how very well detailed these are. So some people complain, that the price of it, but just look at how many pieces you get. Yeah, you could get a little 1/64th scale or 1/32 scale model of a Batmobile. But it has like a handful of parts that they made in a factory in China. But this has got hundreds and hundreds of parts that are identical to the life-size counterpart. And you get to assemble it, put it all together. So let's do that. We're gonna set up our station here and we're gonna continue on. All right, so we got the rear axle, the right leaf spring that goes on the axle like that, and then we take the shock absorber mount and we install this with the EM screw. So this goes on like so. We tighten it down. It's been a long time since I've been working on these models. It feels good. Okay, next up we're taking our U-bolts, and they're gonna go up through the bottom of the axle and through these holes, and we're going to secure them with these nuts. I have to find my little one of the stages came with like a little wrench. I gotta go find that. real quick. Okay, found my little nut driver. The nuts go inside here. It's like really a tight fit. Shouldn't be that tight, but we'll get this going. Okay, we're gonna finish the other. We got the other U-bolt. Goes through here and up. You gotta kind of hold it and get one of these started. Okay, I'm just doing the final torque here. Don't want to go too hard and snap something. This is not full size, very strong metal. Okay, so be careful. Be gentle. Just kind of like don't overdo it. Okay, this concludes this stage. Oh no, so I have the shock absorber I have to install, and it goes on right here. Let's put a screw in here, and we're going to install it right there. Okay, and just doing a final torque, and we're going to go on to stage 34. Okay, we're up to stage 34. Let's go through the magazine. Season 1, episode 34, May 5th, 1966. Then we have a section for Great Batman Comics right here. And Batman Year by Year. I'm sure as we get to the end of this build, that classic look of Batman, which was, you know, you're going to see the more modern version, because this kind of looks like the TV series Batman. And we have our next stage. We're continuing on with the rear axle and suspension. Here is our stage. Open it for you. Always come with extra hardware, which I like a lot. So we got more U-bolts, actual spring. We have spring hangers, shackle pins, shock absorber springs, and the outer shackle. All right, so let's set up and go to work. Okay, first up, we're installing these left spring hangers. This is what I guess attaches this rear axle to the chassis. Got these really long screws here. They don't go in very easily. Maybe they have to be screwed in the entire way. Let's give that a shot. So let me get it started and then just stop it before it pokes through. Right there. And then we're going to continue on got to do this on both the left and right side. Let me flip this around, like working blind here. Let's flip it around like this. And then make sure we're going in to the leaf spring. There. I felt that's really nice and smooth going through here. And then you have to kind of look at it, see how it moves, but just kind of like get a feel that it's lining up. And tighten it down. All right, so according to the picture, so that looks good, the left hanger right here. Now let's do the right hanger. Grab another one of these long screws. And in the picture, it's flipped around this way. Here you have a short tab and a longer tab. So the short tab goes on the outside. And we're going to get this started like the last one. Okay, it's going to go on like this. So let's flip it around so we can see it actually going through. Once it gets through that first hole, it seems to loosen up no problem. So I guess we're working through the threads in here, and so it just kind of goes in like butter after that. And then we adjust it, and we have to make it come out this hole. So it has to be lined up, and then you can feel a little resistance, so you know you're lining up. And do a final torque. All right, so that's that. Our two hangers are installed. Okay, now we're going to install these shackles to the front part of the leaf springs. So now the rest of the parts, they're all interchangeable. There's no left or right. So we're going to take the shackle and then install this U-bolt in here, like so. And then we're going to sorry about that. Then we're going to take one of these that goes on here. And we got to take some nuts. They give us only 4 nuts. I guess when the deal comes with screws, they give you a ton of screws, but not nuts. So we're going to install this. Okay, so I got these shackles on here. That's just one step into attaching this to the frame. So now we have to install these springs. And these springs they give you, oh my God, they're so stiff. You know, even though they're small, you can barely, and I don't want to like fling it across the room, but you could barely bend them. These ones not as stiff as the other ones on the Dodge Charger. So of course, if I put these on now, like they're telling me, they're gonna fall out. So let me get the chassis here, right here. Okay, and then we're going to the back. So this has got to be flipped over. And this gets installed. The shackles go towards the back into these holes. And then these forward brackets fit into these slots they got right there. So now let's try and get these springs in. Could be a little tricky, but I'll adjust everything else after I get the springs down inside the shock absorber housings. Okay, so you can see we got some shock action. Look at that. Okay, now everything's lined up again, and we could start installing some screws. We got EM screws. There you go, here, here, and here. Okay, so we got these forward ones in. Do a final torque check. I think we're going to install the rear wheels here soon. It's going to start looking like a vehicle. Get the whole thing up on its chassis here. And then we're going to flip this over and 2 EM screws for this guy right here. Okay, so we got those in. Had a little scare when I flipped it over. Wasn't paying attention and these springs came out, so I had to go find them on the floor. But that's that concludes stage 34. Just doing a final check here. Okay, 35 coming up. Hi all, welcome back. Stage 35 of the classic 1966 Batmobile. This is the start of season 2, finally out of season 1, but this is episode 35. Or it could be season 2, episode 1, but they wanted to match your magazine number. I would have loved to live in Wayne Manor. That was pretty cool. I liked it. I wonder where that is in the U.S. I'll have to go look at it on Zillow or something. Okay, Great Batman Comics. You can see the updated Batman. These seems like newer ones. And then Batman Year by Year. All right, so car parts for stage 35. We have steering gear housing, the sector gear, the worm gear, the steering gear housing bottom, the steering shaft, and a universal joint. Looks like that right there. So this one, I could tell you right now, is a lot more detailed and looks like it's going to be much better engineering than with my Dodge Charger. Dodge Charger was pretty stiff and rudimentary. When you turn the steering wheel, it really doesn't turn the front wheels, only very little bit. But let's get into it. We have our package. It's a smaller package this time. We got some screws, ZM screws and AM screws. And this sector gear, it's gold, or maybe it's brass or something. But everything else is metal and painted black. Look at this guy. Looks pretty nice. See, that's how detailed this model is. It's just not a standard glued together model. Okay. First up, we got our housing. Okay, it's split in two. And we're going to install the steering gear into here. Okay, it's gotta fit right in there. And then comes the worm gear. It's like this. You have to make it make contact here. So when this spins, the shaft moves. See that? But this is actually going to be the input from the steering wheel, and then this is going to go to your front wheels. Okay, and now we take the housing and we encase everything. Maybe. Let's see here. So you can see I'm spinning this shaft, and you can see that move. A little tight from all the paint, but that's the idea of a worm gear. It's not actually threaded. It just has like the whatever you call it on the gear itself, so it always stays in place and doesn't like try and go in or out. Let's install some screws. Okay, we've got 1 and 2 using AM screws. So Fanhome has this model to build your own Darth Vader. I'm debating if I should get it or not. I did the Iron Man one, but you know I'm running out of space here in my my little room. Okay, next up we have our housing, steering housing. Okay, and we're going to install this universal joint. I don't think it matters where it goes, but which way it goes, but it goes on to this worm gear. And we're going to use some ZM screws, these really tiny ones. Let me get some of these ready and install them. It's pretty tiny working area. Let me finish tightening these up for that universal joint. Okay, and then I gotta hold it really tight. It's gonna hurt your fingers, but you gotta do it. Okay, and now we have the steering shaft. Now, is this the same? No, it's not. It doesn't tell you which side to use, but this side with the smaller shaft arms, they don't fit over the universal joint, so only this side does. So we're gonna finish it off with 2 more ZM screws, these little itty bitty ones. So we get it started. We're gonna put it over like this and hold everything together. And then we'll get that started and then do the other side. There, and now let's tighten it up. It's gonna hurt your fingers, but just work through the pain. Hold it. There, so now we have the steering and our universal. It moves in every direction. It's pretty cool, huh? All right, so that does not conclude. So now we're going to take this and install it onto the vehicle. I have the vehicle here, and we're going to use a couple AM screws to install this right here. Move some of this. Yeah, see, this is a lot better, and than the Charger. You gotta understand, this was a Cadillac concept car. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. We are working right here, installing this steering housing onto the chassis. And this definitely concludes stage 35. Okay, and so this is going to go up to the steering wheel, and that shaft is going to connect to something else, so the front wheels can turn like such. Okay. Okay, I did miss a step. So this connects to what we just installed, and let's give it a test. Maybe there's not enough torque on here. Maybe everything is just too stiff. Well, can't win them all, I guess. Oh, that turned a little. Yeah, we just gotta unstiff everything, I guess. And then go back the other way. Maybe should have put some oil on that worm gear, huh? Well, you get the concept. Here we go, episode 36, stage 36, season 2, episode 36. Great Batman comics, Batman year by year, and our car parts. So we're working on the drive shaft this stage. We got AP screws. this is going to connect our transmission to our rear axle. Okay. We got a couple of universal joints. We have a long drive shaft, a shorter drive shaft. This is the support, center support, and our bearing. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to take our rear axle and our center support, and we're going to connect these two with one of the universal joints. Okay, so now we're going to connect this shorter drive shaft to this universal joint. And we're just finishing up this screw here. So the reason why they're using these universal joints is because it's not going to be a straight shot from the transmission to the rear wheels. So you have some flexibility all around, you know. So it'll go like that or something. Okay, next up is we take the bearing and slide this onto the shaft. Pretty sloppy. Why is this so sloppy? It doesn't, I guess it's, I don't know. That's so weird. Okay, now we take one of the halves of our longer drive shaft and we clamp it over this. So let's get some screws ready to go. So we got this, it goes in here, and we got this, and it goes in here. All right, so now that I got it clamped, let's flip it around and secure it. Oh my God. And get the other one. All right, so our drive shaft is taking shape. Interesting. Okay, but whatever. So now we take our other universal joint and it goes in here. All right, get some screws. Here's our completed drive shaft. It's not really a drive shaft. I mean, it's not going to actually turn the rear wheels. This is just a representation of what it would look like, and so because you can see how this, you know, you see how this turns here. It's not going to drive on its own. It's not a real drive shaft. It just kind of looks like one. And all we got to do now is install it on the vehicle, and I'll be right back. Okay, so there's the finished stage of the axle, and that's why it's so articulating. Like Looks like this is lower than this one, so it's kind of like sloping down. And this thing, don't know where it goes yet, but it's supposed to be a bearing. And we'll see how it turns out. Go to 37. All right, guys, we're back with stage 37. This is our first big piece that we're gonna work on to make this thing look like a car. I'll show you here in a second. So we got episode 37, Catwoman. She's a cat burglar. Okay. Then we got classic Batman. Batman Year by Year. And our car parts. So here we have the floor pan. You can see right there. And we installed that with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 cm screws. I'm going to set up and we're going to get started, okay? So just give me a second. This is so big that I don't even think it fits in the screen. Stage 37. Let me cut this open. Take this out. And this is all metal. It's pretty heavy. You can't really tell from your point of view, but it's all metal. And we got like at least 2 pounds or something on there. And all these screws. So let's get started. All right, can you guys see this? Let's open up our instructions just to be safe. Place the floor pan on top of the frame of your Batmobile and secure with 12 screws. So which screws holds, let me identify here. Oh, it goes this way. So there's a hole here. So we're putting them in these holes right here. Okay. And so that looks like that matches up here. Let me, oh, the steering column's got to be above. And that just clicks into place. That's pretty nice. Okay, so let's start securing. Y'all, I got all of these in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just got to do a final torque check. But we're not going to over tighten. Don't want to strip anything out. That happens too often when you, especially screwing into plastic with metal screws. You know, I hate that. It's happened already a couple times. But I think we'll be fine. We're just doing the final torque check, making sure it is bottomed out. You can see the springs working. The shocks, I mean. And that's that. That's stage 37. We'll go on to 38. All right, last stage was 37, and we did the floor pan. So this stage we're doing the seat pan. Pretty straightforward and simple. Quick rundown of the magazine. Episode 38, still fighting Catwoman. Great Batman comics. Batman Year by Year. Here we go. Our car parts in stage 38. Show you what we get. Okay, so we have our frame. All we have to do now is install the seat pan. It goes like this. I can see where this bearing goes. I have two slots right here. They'll probably flip this over and install that. So let's do this first. And we're going to install it with some CM screws, 10 of them. So we're going to get this going, and we will be right back. Okay, just finishing up. We got this seat pan all torqued down, all 10 screws. Don't want this video to go on too long, but yeah, so that bearing gets secured by a couple of AP screws. So let's flip this car over and take care of that. Okay, everybody, I'm cutting the video off now. I want to keep flipping this around. I don't want to break anything. And so we'll see you on the next stage.